All right, folks, we are back for another episode of Masque Un Podcast, and I am hitting you with some fake positivity right now because we are coming off of an incredibly disappointing draw against Bilbao. We will talk about that match. We'll talk about the Real Madrid controversy, even though it doesn't matter now. The title is basically theirs. We're going to declare it a done La Liga for, I think, the fourth or fifth time this year. We'll move on to some other ridiculous transfer rumors. Who knows what else we'll get into. But we're here with the boys. It's me, John, Buga, and Pablo checking in. How we doing, guys? Like I said, coming off of this disappointing draw. Let's start with that. Buga, how we doing?
Dude, I hate when we start building up like, okay, Real Madrid, they lost points yesterday. I'm feeling good about myself. I'm going to watch this Barcelona game. We're going to get back into the string of things. And then you just watch 90 minutes with not a single goal and like one of the worst performances ever. And then two of your best players get injured and everything goes wrong. And it's like, why the hell do I even watch football anymore?
Yeah, don't put your mental health on Barcelona, please. You have to compartmentalize. That's 90 minutes where you allow yourself to dream and you take the heartbreak. And then you got to just, it doesn't exist until the next match. That's what you got to do for as Barcelona supporters right now. Pablo, what about you, sir? How are we doing?
Oh, feeling so numb after that one, by the way. How frustrating is that, honestly? I know all the fans were feeling the same. It's really raw for us because, by the way, it's about 40 minutes since, full time now. It's just like, like Bulgar said, like I don't think we would have won La Liga even if we won tonight. I want to put that on the record. But it's almost not the point. The point more is the fact that Real Madrid, for probably the last time this season, are complaining about referees. They've dropped points. And we had a golden opportunity to catch a big scalp away to Athletic, to get a big 3 points, to put ourselves back in the mix, 6 points behind them with a Clásico to come, and we produced that. I mean, that sums up the season. And we lost Pedri and Frenkie De Jong to injuries again, so no Pedri, no De Jong, no Gavi again for however long. Just like everything fell on its face again after about 15 minutes of the game. That, for me, is unacceptable. Utterly sums up the season. Just feeling so numb about it. Like, it was like Bulgar said, like the little glimmer of hope, and for what? Just to throw it away. I'm so disappointed in that performance. Shocking, especially the second half. I mean, what are we playing for? What are we playing for? Genuinely, just end the season then. If no one's going to turn up, then just end it, because what's the point? Didn't turn up at all. Just threw away a golden chance. Threw it away.
Yeah, I made no chemistry, no passion, no commitment. It was give the ball to Lamine. Lamine will do something. Just give it to him on the right wing, and then everyone else gets to just stand there. Fermin had a stinker of a match. I mean, Fermin Lopez showed every bit of his inexperience in this match. Coming off the bench, wasn't expecting to get that much playing time. Of course, Pedri and Frenkie going off injured. You can put a lot of the blame on that, but not the effort, not the lack of creativity, right? This was, I think, the very worst of Barcelona that we saw in this match, and it was Pablo, I think you said it the best. It was numb. Everyone was just kind of going through the motions, and part of me was like, yeah, just call La Liga now. There's no point in going through this. It's not exciting. It's not fun to watch. This is just painful now.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of the impact, of course, had to do with the injuries. I think that we were not expecting those key injuries, because certainly the players, and I think us fans going into Napoli's game, or when we were entering this stage of the season, like, you want Frenkie De Jong, you want Pedri to be in the team, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, bang, both of them injured again. And look, if I'm a player there, it's going to take a toll on me 100%, because now moving into Napoli, like, your only midfield options are Gundogan, Rio Romeo, Sergio Roberto, Fermin Lopez, and someone that I'm missing probably.
Romeu and his now head full of hair. That's what I'm banking on. Romeu coming in as a new player, who apparently Romeu was asking to go back to Girona in January, which can't blame him. Can't blame him at all. But I'm hoping new hair, new attitude, coming back strong for Romeu. Right, guys?
Nah.
You with me?
Nah, no way.
To be fair, he looked okay off the bench.
He looked okay. He looked okay in a horrible match for Barcelona.
Yeah.
He looked okay. He didn't stick out as being a problem. Was there anything positive? Go ahead, Pablo.
No, I just to reiterate on a few individual things of the game. I mean, I just can't believe what I was seeing for so much of it. I genuinely how can you have like a game of that importance, players that we've got on the pitch, and not like think, lads, we're going to fight for this? For me, like even when I saw Pedri and De Jong go off, it's big losses, but something that invigorated within me, I thought, right, this will be a massive win. And I think that you put something in the chat at half time, John, about it. If we win this, it'll be like massive, and it would. It'd just be like, that's the time for the team to stand up. It's like, right, we've lost our two guys. This is already a massive game, though. Like, we're going to put our bodies on the line. Now, this second half is going to be like one heck of a performance from us to put our name down in this title race. And we couldn't have like we would have been better off like just like going on the bus home to Barcelona before. What, like, there was no point in that second half. I can't believe I watched it and no one in that game thought like, let's go and win this, lads. Alls we did, we couldn't even build through the midfield. That's what worries me for the next few weeks as well. Without those two, there was nothing going on. I mean, Gundogan was trying to drop in, then Christensen was out as an interior. I was like, oh, Kubarsi and Ter Stegen were doing 1-2s like it was a game of two touch. It was like there was no build up at all. There was nothing. Like, it was utterly flat. There was never a 5-minute period in the game where I thought, we're building something here, lads. And in a game where you need to win against an Athletic Club side who, by the way, are without big players due to suspension, are resting players because they just had a massive game against Atletico Madrid midweek. They got through to the Copa del Rey final win. It's just unacceptable how we've seen that, genuinely. I'm so disappointed in the lads because I thought we started well in the first 15 minutes, but to fall flat on our face like that, there's no excuse for it. Like, genuinely, this team needs a hard reset mentally, physically, managerially, because there's nothing going on anymore, genuinely. How can you produce that in a game of that magnitude? I can't believe it.
Even if Barcelona won this game, I think it would have felt like a defeat, because the injuries, the way they were playing, everything is like it's downhill, and it's really worrying. It's very the best way I can say it, it's very annoying, or it's very surprising how quickly this team can change from one week in and then to the next week. It changes drastically, and there's no sense of consistency. When you look at the lineup, you are finally like, okay, Rafinha is back in the squad. We can rest Lamine Yamal. Okay, great. We can have options off the bench. We can even drop someone like a Pedri or Frenkie De Jong if we want, and start Joao Felix on the left. Suddenly, all of those options, they crumble, not only because of the injuries, but simply because no matter what we do, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. We have no plan whatsoever, and I think that's the best thing that we're seeing. And like John called it, like it's Getafe that we shit just last week.
Yeah, we talked about it last week, that was a bit of an illusion, and then we saw it again in the comments. Shout out to the listeners who were on board with that idea. Sidebar, do go ahead and leave your comments in. We love getting your questions. We love getting your thoughts, hearing your opinions, so please do share down in the comments. Keep the conversation going. But back into what we were talking about, this was supposed to be the year of Gavi, Pedri, and Frenkie De Jong. How many matches have they even shared the field together? Right? Gavi was out long term. Pedri now, we have to acknowledge, has an injury problem. And now Frenkie, fluke accident, rolled ankle. He might be back in 2 weeks, might be back in 6 weeks. You know, that's the kind of thing you don't really know how bad that is. But the fact that he couldn't shake it off immediately is a problem. But
Yep.
Is there? Here's what I'm driving at. Here's my question: with all the injuries going on at Barcelona, is there anyone that Barcelona is going to realistically bring in this summer that's going to have a bigger impact than a healthy Frenkie, Pedri, Gavi?
Absolutely not. Like that's what I say it's a problem, because you take a look at the players that we have right now and just simply how bad we're injured. I think anything that we get is a massive positive. Like even when you saw the players coming back for the game against Getafe, that was a great news. But when you take a look at the players that we are missing, we have Balde missing, Gavi, Frenkie, De Jong, even Ferran Torres, someone who was scoring earlier this season.
Yeah.
Ter Stegen, we lost him for almost the half of the year. So you take a look at this campaign, and it's basically, like you were saying, call it now. Like, if Barcelona find a way, if Barcelona could forfeit all of their games, I would do it.
If this was EAFC, I'm simulating the rest of this season. I'm getting to the transfer window.
Exactly.
I'm figuring things out, and I'm moving on. I'm not playing another one of these matches at all.
Yeah.
I mean, we even on
I
the
do have
charts,
another question for you, though, and again, shout out to our listeners who are leaving the comments here. I saw a couple folks, shout out to Kelvin and Javier in the comments, shouting out for Kubarsi at defensive mid. He's got good passing, he's got good vision, but he's killing it in the center back position. Is there any argument for sliding Kubarsi in and having Christian slide back to that defensive mid position? Not that Kubarsi is doing anything wrong at the center back position, but maybe it's an upgrade in that pivot position.
I'll take that one. I think that the problem really doesn't lie there in our defensive midfield position. I can see and understand that about the passing and how we're doing, but like you're saying, he's doing an incredible job in center back position, so I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, it's
Pablo, what do you think? Kubarsi at defensive mid?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I mean, I understand it because I don't know how much Christensen's working in there. Like, I even look at when he's in there in the pivot, and it's like we don't want to use him as an option in build up. Like, and it's like, well, why is he in there then? We're actually trying to evade him in the build up. And it's like, if you're trying to do that Busquets role and we're not actually using you, what's the point? And like I made the point earlier when Gundogan then dropped deep because he was just losing his mind in there, trying to like help us build out. Then Christensen was in the interior role, and I was like, what is going on here? Like, this is like when you've got too many injuries on FIFA career and you're just like slotting everyone in everywhere. Like, what are we doing here? So Kubarsi, I understand why he would do better in midfield because of his like, I think on the ball he's maybe better than Christensen. He might be the best centre back on the ball at the club, by the way, but I think I'd want to keep him at centre back at the moment, just to aid his development more than anything because he's such a young player and that's his position. A bit of a shout on Kubarsi. I was just thinking about it today, and I'm gonna get slaughtered for this, but because Spain don't have many good Spanish centre backs at the moment, really, I thought he'd be a decent shout. Like Laporte's been starting loads, and he went out to Saudi Arabia. Inigo Martinez is a bit out of favour. You could maybe look at some of those Athletic Club ones, and Leonard Mann's been the other one from Real Sociedad. So I think that'll be a great option there. I mean, he's got to be one of the top Spanish centre-back performers at the moment. So let's see in the next international break if Luis de la Fuente does that. But Barca fans might not be very happy about it. But I just thought about it today in the game. I thought, you know what, that's actually a bit of a potential option for Spain.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Euro's coming up this summer.
Yeah.
It'd be very interesting if we can see Kubarsi maybe sneak in there. Because, I mean, talking about that for a second, I think it's going to be disappointing for Barca fans. No Gavi. At this point, I don't know if Balde makes it with Gaia and Grimaldo having the type of performances that they're having. I don't think Balde makes it. So
No, he doesn't.
we'll get to all that. That's summer disappointment that we can get to. One more talking point I did want to get to about this match. Lamine Yamal. He's got a reputation for diving now. He definitely goes down rather easily. Penalty or no penalty in this match?
I don't think it's a penalty.
Pablo? With a smirk?
No, actually, I don't think it was. I think Lamine went to shoot and Berenguer put his leg in the way and he kicked through Berenguer. But it's a difficult one because it's almost like then... I never know what to think about that if, like, when you're going to shoot and if someone puts their leg in the way and then you kick through them, it's like, who does it go to? Because in a way you've impeded me as I'm trying to shoot the ball. You've put your leg in the way and you've stopped me reaching the ball. But then at the same time, I'm the one kicking you. It's a really strange one, that, but... Yeah, I suppose I didn't... It was one of those moments where I thought we'd been robbed. Because I think it was an okay decision. Mm-hmm. It was an okay decision, I thought.
I agree. It's clunky. For me, it's a fine line of where the contact is made and where the defender is in relation to backside front, right? Like if I'm wind up to take the kick and the defender fully slides in front of me and he's between me and the ball and I kick the defender and go down, obviously no penalty. If we're side to side, probably same thing. But if the defender's behind me and I go to kick the ball and in my pullback you clip that leg, for me that's a penalty, and that's where I think there's an argument to be made that it could be a penalty. But reputation matters. The fact that Lamine was also, even in that case, looking for the penalty matters. When you go down easily in those cases, it doesn't help the cause, I don't think. If he would have perhaps fought to stay up, a little bit more, maybe you can see the impact. It's a little bit more visible. Maybe you get that call. But I think as it plays out and reputation of Lamine Yamal, I think that's why you don't see that called.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Barcelona, Hernandez, he wasn't having any of it tonight, by the way. He just every decision he turned his back away from really quickly, I thought. He was letting the game play massively. There were so many, I thought, decisions where we got bumped over or stuff or clipped. He wasn't giving any of it. Like, it was he just let the game flow, which is good and bad, I suppose, but they kept turning over possession by just bumping us to the ground. They're a very physical team, obviously, and, we weren't getting anything happen about 3 times to Gundogan, 3 times to Rafinha. He was just letting the game flow. I knew he wasn't going to give that penalty as well to Lamine because it was too contentious, so.
Yeah, not after the back of that Real Madrid controversy. I went into this going, Barcelona's not going to get any calls today. We're not going to get a single thing. There's no way that La Liga is going to allow it to go on Saturday. Real Madrid gets robbed by Manzano, and then on Sunday, Hernandez comes in and hands it to Barcelona. Not going to happen. Not going to be the case, and that wasn't the case. So
incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the Real Madrid controversy? Controversy or no controversy? What's your initial reaction to that? I'll say interesting timing to the final whistle.
I mean, if you let the corner play out, like, might as well let it play completely entire. It's not like the ball was thrown like 5 or 10 yards behind the area. No, it was continuously in play. So if I'm a Real Madrid fan, I'm gonna be pissed. Like this time around, I have to admit, I think it was the wrong call, but it's not really the wrong call. Is the best way I can describe it is. It's the right call, but it's not like futbolero. It's not like
Buga,
the thing you should do.
Yes, if I've never seen a football match before, if this is the first one I'm watching, right? First of all, I'm confused about what extra time is in the first place. But we're what? It was like 7 minutes into stoppage time or something like that. Okay, so
8 minutes.
8 minutes. Okay, and the 8 minutes had passed. So for the people who are saying the 8 minutes had passed, it's a done deal. There's no controversy. Why are they perhaps wrong, Buga?
Because football is not like, it was not a sport that you could bend the rules a little bit when it comes to those situations like that. And I think that's the best way. Like that wouldn't happen in a soccer game I just called soccer. A football game.
Dude. Well, there goes the podcast. We got to burn this episode. My goodness. And guy, that wasn't me. That wasn't the American that said it. Okay. I'm not taking heat for that one.
Okay, in a football game, like in school or university or something like that, like the referee won't do that. That's or like
they'll blow it at the
Yeah, you never see it. I think that's the best way I can say it. Like the commentators say, it's not very footballero. It's not something like very ethical if you're like a football fan or you're like someone who has played football all your life. It's like normally you will let it play out and stuff like that, right? So it is what it is. Like for instance, before VAR penalties, like how many people invaded the area or how many times the goalkeeper had these 2 legs outside the line, like you never checked it. Like nobody really cared because it's like why is half a feet in the line gonna do anything like for everyone? Like it's gonna do something. I get it, but it's like not really. So it's the sort of rules that football now are way more strict because we have the VAR, we have the whole. We want the entire thing, the entire revolution with the referees, which is just shit at the moment. There's no consistency, and that's the problem.
Pablo, what are you thinking, buddy?
I would be upset if I was a Real Madrid fan. I think Spanish referees sometimes do blow the whistle at really weird times. I think they're a lot stricter than in England with when the 3 minutes is up, or even a few seconds before. They're like, head down the tunnel, lads, this is up. England, they let it drag and drag and drag, and it always goes over. Like you look at like today, for example, it didn't even reach 93, and he's like, "We're going," and the same about before the half time as well. But I think where the error Haaland made is that the second that Valencia cleared the initial corner, he should have blown it. he did a little bit of a weird 1 second delay, and then he put his whistle to his lips, and then Real Madrid had the ball on the wing. Once they had the ball on the wing, if you hadn't blown it, you had to just leave it, but he followed through with it, blew it, and then by the time they'd crossed it in and Bellingham headed it in, he'd already blown it. But anyway, I genuinely couldn't believe it, because Haaland Thano, of all people as well, by the way, like, oh my god, like, what, like, a villain moment from him. Like, it must have, against, like, I can't stand if I can say it, against his club, really, like, it's just, like, it's like one of those moments in, like, a film you, like, betray your people, isn't it? Like, the little, like, the... I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe his face, honestly, as, like, the Real Madrid players were surrounding him. I thought, like, have they, like, rescinded his father's, like, Peña membership or something? Like, what's gone on here? Like, as he was standing there, like, leave me, like, not today, lads, not today. And they were like, Hill, don't do this. and he was absolutely adamant. I was like, this is brilliant television. Like, when you're betraying your own like that. It was incredible.
It's like an
to watch.
episode of like the Sopranos or some shit.
It was something I was like, oh, that's such like a villain, the villain arc turn from Haaland Thano against his homeboys. I was like, oh, that is a tough one to take for Real. Like, Carvajal couldn't believe it, but I mean, he won't be getting a Real Madrid game for a long time now, because he's been one of their biggest advocates in recent years, and he's just he turned the tables. Brilliant.
The red card on Bellingham as well was just like the cherry on top, I think.
Yeah, and that was another thing. I was like, oh my gosh, could it be the comeback is on? Real Madrid drop points. Bellingham gets a red card.
Exactly,
Gil Manzano just did us a solid. It could hell be freezing over. And then Barcelona does very Barcelona things with this draw.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was an emotional roller coaster these last 24 hours.
I just gotta say, I think that if you're a neutral and you're watching this league, it's very entertaining. Like, you're like, oh, Barcelona, the comeback and stuff like that, because you don't have any emotion attached to it. So it's like, oh, Barcelona bottled it again. It's like watching Man United, like week in and week out. I think we're like Manchester United at the moment. We're just shit.
Don't say that. Don't say that. We are miles above Manchester United. Okay, we are a different class than Manchester United. I don't want to hear any of that.
I do agree.
I
do agree. Having watched Man U a lot, having watched Man U a lot this season, by the way, we are actually a step. They are properly bad. They're really, really bad. What they're good at is getting results, though, because they could be a lot lower down in the table. By the way, with the way they play, my goodness me.
Who's got a better squad on paper? Man United or Barca?
Barca.
Yeah,
I have to agree. It's closer than you'd think, but I would agree Barcelona if everybody's healthy, of course.
It's not closer than you think. No.
Fernandez, Rashford.
That's it. Casemiro, you got Varane.
All short.
Yeah, to be
they
fair,
don't have their best right winger is Garnacho.
He's a good player.
I'm not a Garnacho fan. Pablo, what were you gonna say?
I think they could be doing a lot worse than they are. I looked at their lineup today in the derby. Lindelof at left back, Johnny Evans at centre back with Varane and Dalot. I mean, bless them. Honestly, it's shocking. That really, isn't it?
McTominay, Kobe Mainoo, Casemiro, 3 CDMs, and then you just got Bruno Fernandes as a 10, and then Garnacho.
I don't know what Ten Hag is doing either. But this is engine room territory here.
Well, I mean, listen, throw back to the engine room, but you know what? I appreciate Manchester United for being a little bit of a punching bag on a day when we maybe needed it. We can always look down at the Red Devils, no matter how bad it gets to Barcelona.
Right now, the club that I'm enjoying the most watching football, honestly, no joke, is Chelsea.
What? That's not what I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah, wow. I really like. I don't know why, but I enjoy it. Like I tune into every Chelsea game now. I don't know why, but I just like them. It's like
you're joking.
Counter-attacking. Yeah, I find it entertaining. Like counter-attacking football, just see them running.
We're just mental, aren't we? There's nothing. There's no structure there. It's just like we might win and we might lose.
Exactly.
Pablo, I know you're a big Chelsea guy. Do you have any other club that you are enjoying watching? Like maybe you have a little side club that you get a good football fix from?
Not massively, to be fair. No, I'm a bit of a cold-hearted man when it comes to football, really. But I'll tell you, Athletic Club are one of the clubs I really enjoy watching. They're brilliant, to be fair. And then just from a pure footballing point of view, it's really obvious. But Man City, whenever I watch them, I think they just got everything to a T. They're so damn good, man. It's like it is insane.
I don't like watching that.
I know it's quite robotic, isn't it? But they've got all like the conditions just like perfectly in place. It's like a little like machine. It's very good to watch though. I just sometimes think what goes in the training ground, but they just everything's in place.
Yeah,
It's nearly as good as Pochettino's Chelsea, but
30-point difference or something like that.
Give or take.
I've been watching a lot of AC Milan this year because
of course,
making the jump over, and they've been playing some really entertaining football. I mean, Leao, Pulisic, Theo Hernandez. I gotta tell you, defensively you could ask for a little bit more, but in terms of an attacking threat from the left side, top 5 in the world of football. Left back, left wing, I don't care. Just attacking threat from the left-hand side.
I do think that still the best team out there right now, it's Inter. I think Inter are playing wonderful football right now. They really are destroying teams like every single week in, week out. They're beating them. And before, because like Pablo said, this is engine room territory, Napoli has just beaten Juventus, and they're back to scoring ways just before our Champions League tie.
Genuinely, who else is incredibly worried about that?
Do we dare have any hope going up against Napoli in Leg 2? I know we're going to be at home. I know it's tempting, but is there any part of you that is going to allow that hope to creep in against Napoli? I don't think I can. I don't think I'm ready for that roller coaster.
It's one of those, isn't it, as well, John? If we beat Napoli, though, what's going to happen to us in the quarterfinals?
We're going to get smacked.
Yeah. I think we could be out against Napoli, by the way. Montjuic doesn't feel like home either, really, as well, right now. It just feels like we lose all the time at Montjuic. We're still unbeaten away from home in La Liga, by the way.
We're better away, yeah.
Yeah. And we are quite poor away, so. But, God, people have got to be worried about that Napoli game, especially after the injuries today.
What do we do with the lineup now? Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
I was surprised that Xavi went with 4 in the midfield today. I thought João Felix was going to get the start.
Yeah. He probably
I
should
thought
have.
this was a match where he maybe needed some time to get into rhythm, you know.
I really like João Felix after he came on. I think he gave us he really wants the ball, and I think that we don't have players like that at the moment. Like he's like, give me the ball, I'm gonna try to do something, and that is the thing where I was watching Barcelona like new. It's like 20 minutes to go. I'm just like, where is somebody who just wants to grab the ball and like take on a player? Like we're lacking that in acres, in space. Like it's honestly surprising that not a single player wants to do that more often. And for me, João Felix, he's just the only one who believes like, okay, I'm gonna turn on a player, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I that's the thing I will question about today, how flat it was in João Felix and Vitor Roque sat on the bench. I forgot Roque was even an option, by the way, because of just we don't use him. Lewandowski didn't touch the ball tonight again. You know, you throw him in,
Miserable.
We've got nothing. We literally have nothing to lose right now. We literally have nothing to lose. Go and try and win the game. João Felix again. Yeah,
I'm gonna. You know what's the lineup? The lineup that I go against Napoli is like super offensive. Like I don't care what people say. I'm gonna go like Ter Stegen, João, Cancelo. I go Cubarsí or Íñigo Martinez. I go Araujo. I go Koundé. Then I go Christensen, Gundogan, and then I go João Felix, Rafinha, Lamine, and Lewandowski. That's what I do. I just go like go out there, play football, like just try to get us a win. Because I think the best thing that can happen, honestly, for Barcelona in this game, it's gonna sound weird that I'm gonna say this, but remember the game that we played against Inter where we really needed to win last season? Like, was it last season? Yeah, I think right. Yeah, the 3-3.
Yes.
We just need to break. We just need to break a game because we don't have I don't think we have such a good amount of quality players to put on a tactical display where you go like, okay, this is our game plan. This is what we're gonna do. I think it's just like break the game as soon as possible. That's what I like in football. Like there are games where it's like this game never broke. That's what I mean. You know, there's never a goal. They always stuck to their plans. You need to just break the game completely. Like, for instance, Manchester Derby today, United broke the game after Rashford scored. That's what I think we need to do, because that's when Barcelona, I think, do best at this current moment, like the game against Getafe. When the other team is like, okay, we need to score, when there's no planning behind in their heads, I think that's the best way we can approach. That's the only wild card that we have right now. And that's why I think we should just go all out attacking. And honestly, yeah, that's what I would do.
I'm with you 100%. Here's my lineup. Barcelona for Napoli. Full on attack. I'm going 3-4-3. I'm going Kubarsi, Araujo, Koundé as my back three. I'm going Gundogan, and I'm going Romeu as my center mids. I'm going João Cancelo on the left. Listen to this. I'm going Lamine as my right wing, right mid, Rafinha as my right wing. So we finally get some overlap somehow. I know it's two left footers, but Rafinha on the left wing, nothing. You're trash. You're nowhere. So stick Lamine and Rafinha out on the right wing. Let him cause terror. Let him cause havoc. Lewandowski and João Felix finishing out the front three. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me.
Yeah, that's honestly what we have to do.
We genuinely should do it, yeah. Our hands are pretty much tied, but he'll probably do what, like Fermin and Sergio Roberto?
Is it Roberto actually fit?
I forgot about Sergio Roberto.
It's just so flat, isn't it? Like, you're right, it is so flat, and then it'll be like 1-1, or like we go 1-0 down or 2-0 down, and then it's like, then we'll throw João Felix and Lamine on or Rafinha on, and they'll be like, come on, like, try and definitely cross it into Araujo and Lewandowski, and it's like, you're right, we should just try and like pummel them from the start. I was thinking this would have worked better if Balde was still fit, to be fair, because then we don't really have a left back. With João Cancelo in midfield, like in some sort of formation, and then we've been sort of screaming for that all season. He's a quality player when he gets on the ball. You know, I thought even again tonight he was one of our best players, maybe our best player. So maybe him in midfield probably won't work now, because like I say, no Balde, and then that would mean, unless you do like a false left back in Inigo Martinez or something. But yeah, I back those two lineups. Your lineups are basically the same. I just where you had Christensen in midfield, and John, you had Romeu in midfield. And then I think, yeah, it's about then putting in the rest of the pieces. But I think a front four of Rafinha, Lamine, João Felix and Lewandowski, it's like, let's take the game to them. You know, we literally have nothing to lose right now.
Yeah, I'm into it. Well, we have time before we get to Napoli. We, of course, have Mallorca coming up on Friday. That, to me, is just a throwaway. I mean, I said it in the open. I think we've declared La Liga dead 4 or 5 times this season already. So it'll be official soon enough. Maybe on next week's pod we'll do the math and see after the Mallorca match where we stand and when it could eventually be official. Any other thoughts on the match before we turn to what I consider maybe the most ridiculous transfer rumor around Barcelona so far?
No, I think we're set to go. I just want to give kudos to Bilbao because they play amazing football. There are genuinely moments in the game where we wouldn't touch the ball. And I think that we're just very defensive. Like, I don't know why.
Funny.
Yeah.
Dead, done, moving on. Looking forward to summer transfers. Folks, it's basically pen to paper, done deal. Erling Haaland is coming to Barcelona. I mean, Barcelona had a meeting with Erling Haaland's agent, so it's done, baby. It's final. It's happening.
No way.
No, I mean, this is more ridiculous than the Rafael Leao rumors. This is top notch. I desperate for clicks. There's nothing to this.
I think this is more. This is one or two things. It's totally normal. Like Laporta can say, call up what's her name, Rafaela Pimienta, and go like, hey, what's the situation of Haaland? Let's meet up. Like, I just want to keep tab on him, and like, he's not gonna move from City this season. Like, it's probably like he's talking like, what's the plans for like 4 years down the road? Like, that's literally
contract
the meeting.
Until 2027.
Yeah, that's literally what they probably are talking about. And the other thing that I believe it's more realistic is they're probably talking about like, okay, we may sell Koundé or Araujo or someone this season. Like, just he may be planning something, and he's just looking like, okay, how can I bring the league here?
Yeah,
that's what I think Laporta is doing.
I know. Laporta is a marketing first type of president, branding first type of president. So I think he's going to continue to dangle these carrots while the Mbappe news is circulating best he can. But I don't think even Laporta has the magic up his sleeves to pull a rabbit out like Erling Haaland. I just don't see it happening. I do think Barcelona are going to sell a big name. Koundé is on that list for me. I think if you look at the way that he's playing, he's one of a few players that seem to be picking up motivation. And I'm sitting there asking myself, why? Is it because he loves Barcelona this much and he's that committed to the project and all of a sudden he doesn't mind playing right back? Or does he know that he needs to perform while he's out there and he's going to be on the transfer market and he wants to be able to negotiate and get a good deal and go where he wants to go? That, call me pessimistic, but that's what I'm reading from Koundé. I think he's looking to increase his value with the time that he has on the pitch to get a move away from Barcelona this summer.
I like. Look, I think Koundé is the one that could potentially go. Of course, I also wouldn't be surprised if they try to sell Frenkie De Jong. Like, it pains me that they probably.
Coming his way.
I mean, but it's like even with now Pedri and Gavi being so like injury prone or whatnot, like Frenkie De Jong is still like the only player that's like he's the only midfielder we have because Gundogan is like 33 years old now, so it's like yeah, whatnot. But I do think that's what Laporte is trying to do with the whole Haaland thing and rumors and trying to get like a Rafael Leao player for the door, someone like Kvaratskhelia. We already talked about this. I think he's looking for the marketing. He's trying to do something happen. But realistically, I think there are other priorities first. And one of them, I don't know if we're going to talk about it in this pod. Are we going to talk about the kits and stuff like that? You know, the shirts, Nike contract?
Oh, well, I'm glad you mentioned that. That's going to be a little bonus content for midweek. Should have mentioned that up front. Note to self and team, we'll do a better job of, hey, at the end of this episode or midweek, you know, look for this and blah 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 blah. Because I got a would you rather that I want to hit you guys with, and I should have teased people with it at the beginning of the episode. Think about how many people right now aren't listening because I didn't tease them with the would you rather. You know what I mean? For folks that are listening, you did it. You made it. You're here. You're gonna get to hear the would you rather, and you can leave your comments down below for which you would rather go with, which I'm gonna hit you with in a moment if you guys are ready for us to close this one out.
Hit me.
Okay, so this is Haaland related, right? Would you rather, and neither of these are realistic, so this is a little bit of a stretch. Would you rather have a guaranteed UCL title this year for Barcelona,
you already mentioned this,
or a guaranteed Haaland is joining Barcelona, but not until 2027. So you get a guaranteed UCL title this year, and I'll even let me stretch it. Guaranteed title sometime before 2027. How about that? Just to make it feel a little bit more real. Or guaranteed you get Haaland in 2027.
The UCL and the titles.
I'm going Champions League as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. No consideration for Haaland.
No. Look. I think that even like this is what I'm thinking. Even if you bring Haaland into this team right now, I'm like this guy won't carry you the way like because there's a difference between players like an Mbappe. Like if Mbappe comes here, he's a player that can carry a team and like push you forward. Can literally carry France to the final of a World Cup. Haaland is different. Haaland is like the finisher. You need to put the chances on his plate, even though today he missed like a horrendous chance. But you just have to do that. You have to put chances on his plate and he will score them. That's the sort of Haaland the sort of player that he is, right? So I'm not like, we will fix this. Because Lewandowski was scoring an incredible rate before coming to Barcelona. And even now, he's like, he's getting back to rhythm, but his rhythm is only like 4 games in a row. So that's the biggest issue, I think. It's not like, if you're telling me, okay, bring Mbappe or you want to sign a De Bruyne, like, yeah, I get that. You know, I'll sign that. But a Haaland, for me, is, even though he's the one probably to compete against like a Messi, like an Mbappe for those titles of like the Messi versus Ronaldo, I think he wouldn't work. Like, I'd much rather you prefer spend that money on like a Leao or someone. Yeah.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I'm gonna say no to the guaranteed UCL title, and I'm gonna take Mbappe guaranteed in 2027 because in 2027, Buga, a lot of those problems are gonna work themselves
You
out.
said Haaland, not Mbappe. You just
Sorry,
mentioned.
yeah. Did I say Haaland?
No,
Sorry,
yeah.
Haaland.
You will take Haaland.
Did I
in
just say
2020.
Mbappe that last time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens. Thank you for catching that. It happens. Haaland. Okay, Haaland. I'm not even going to consider Mbappe. He's already gone. He's already written off. I'll never use him in FIFA again. It's already done. Haaland, I'll take because I think by 2027, Barcelona will have righted their ship. These youngsters will not even be like in their prime, their peak. They'll be just entering, I think, the early stages of those years. So Pedri, Gavi, Fermin, despite his worst performance today against Athletic Bilbao, Lamine alone, I think, if you give him another couple of years, is going to be able to feed someone like an Erling Haaland like a sweet little baby, just taking spoonfuls of goodness, saying, "Here's a goal, little baby. Here comes another goal." Yum, 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 yum. I see it happening.
Fucking hell.
What the hell has this?
We have lost it here.
I knocked Paulo off his chair. I did it, everybody.
Oh my god, that is a belter.
I genuinely prefer. I think that for a team like ours, I would take an Osimhen first than a Haaland.
Wow.
Ooh, I would
That's
too. I would too, actually. As Samuel Eto'o is my all-time favorite striker, and he has shadows of Samuel Eto'o.
Yeah.
I would take Osimhen as well.
Yeah. Let's just hope Ansu Fati comes back to his best of his abilities, and then we will win another UCL.
We'll see. We'll see. We're gonna talk about that all summer long, of course. But we gotta grind out the rest of the Liga. We will get through Champions League. I don't even know. I'm trying to think of something optimistic to end on, other than we're gonna continue the conversation. We're gonna keep showing up. We're gonna keep having some fun, some laughs. So I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. Drop a like if you did. Let me know down in the comments what you're thinking, what you're feeling. Let us know your questions. We'd love to hear from you. And look for that midweek post. We're going to get a little bonus content out here. We're saving one of these topics for that coming up. It's going to be the leaked Barca kits. So that'll be coming out later midweek. Other than that, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see y'all next week on Más que un Podcast.
Bye bye, people.